Welcome to Live with Crabtree Coaching Collaborative, your compass for educational excellence. Now, as instructional leaders, we want to avoid that overwhelming sense of burnout and exhaustion because of all of those different competing priorities. We want to avoid our staff members becoming utterly frustrated because they cannot keep up with the demands. And let's face it, we want to avoid just having that lack of confidence because we don't feel like we're making any progress. That's why you're here, right? My name is Alissa Crabtree, and with over 16 years of experience, I am here to help you gain clarity, amplify your learning like never before, and hone in on intentionality. This is where transformation begins, and excellence is always the standard. Remember, we are in this together, my friends, so let's do this thing. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope your week has been absolutely amazing. And if it hasn't, I hope that you're able to enjoy tonight and just kind of relax and chill. It has been a pretty chaotic week, but you know what? It's been fun. It's been a fun week. I'm so grateful that you are here with me tonight, and I have a special treat for you. So I put out a Google form not too long ago to my email list, and I was like, what is it that you want to know? What are your burning questions? And so I received several questions. I think I ended up with 18 specific questions. Some of them were repeats, so I've kind of compiled them together, but I am here to answer those questions. Now, let's disclaimer here. This is from my experience and the environments that I have been placed in. So I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, maybe some suggestions on what has worked for me with over 16 years in the biz. So if, as you're watching this, and even if you're watching the replay, ask me a question, submit another question. I am more than happy to address it. And hey, if you disagree, let me know too. Healthy conversations, healthy disagreement is a good thing. So let me know in the chat, and let's go ahead and get started. Here are my 10 burning questions. So question number 1 that was asked: should students be allowed to retake an assessment on only the questions they missed, or should they have to retake the entire assessment to achieve grade card mastery? So I am guessing, and let me tell my audience right now, I kept everything anonymous. So I do not know where this question is coming from. I don't know what grade level. However, I do want to I want to say the very first question that you have to ask when answering this question is, what is the purpose of an assessment? Is it just to get a report card grade, or is it to actually monitor student learning? And I'm hoping that the answer for all assessments is to monitor student learning. Now, oftentimes there is an overemphasis on grades, especially at the high school level, when you have parents coming down on teachers like nobody's business. And so there is that additional pressure, but I'm going to tell you right now, the purpose of an assessment is to monitor student learning. So my response to this is only on the standards that they missed. That is the only reason, because on the initial assessment, guess what? They showed that they learned it. They had given you proof that they learned it. So your retests should only be on the questions or the standards that they missed. Now, I would make sure that if it is a particular standard, maybe it's just one standard, you at least have 3 different ways to assess that standard. But your reassessments should just be on the standards that they missed, because the purpose of a summative assessment, if I'm giving a grade, I'm deeming that it's summative. For a summative assessment, it's to show learning. There's no need for them to prove it again with another 20 question test. Ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time to make another one. I ain't got time to grade another one. And the kid shouldn't have to do it again. So If it is for grade purposes only, which sometimes you do see that, if it is, maybe work alongside your administrator to come up with an agreement on adding additional points when they prove that they've learned a specific standard, and add those points to an additional assessment. So that's my experience. That's my response. Here's another one. I work with 2 other instructional coaches, all different contents, but we don't really agree on a lot of things. How can I address this? This is a powerful question, and I often see this being the case because instructional coaches are great at their craft. Instructional coaches know instruction. They know content. Hopefully they do. And oftentimes when you get a lot of coaches in the room, they're all experts and they all want to give in their input. They all want to have their voice heard. They all are coming at it from different lenses. However, oftentimes that can generate conflict. For a team to be cohesive, when you're bringing these strong personalities in together, or even differing opinions, one, that's a good thing. You don't want to agree on everything. Please remember, for us to grow, we have to rethink some things. But I am going to encourage you to strengthen communication. Communication needs to be strengthened, and goals need to be clarified. If your goal for your campus is maybe writing across the curriculum and you are wanting this, you 3 all need to get on the same page of how does this need to look? What message are we sending? And that's okay if you have to duke it out. Embrace conflict, but also make sure that you're coming at it from the same angle. So I highly suggest sitting down first, discussing the purpose of their work together and how important it is that they can work together, and reevaluate the goal and determine a plan to get there. If someone pisses you off, you can't just be like, well, I'm done with them. I don't want to talk to them anymore. We can't do that. We have to strengthen our communication. We're all adults here. It's okay to disagree. Don't take it personally. Come together, clarify the goal, create those action steps, and move forward. All right, question from a principal. I work with 2 APs who are not instructional leaders, and it is negatively impacting our campus culture. What can I do to strengthen their knowledge about Tier 1 instruction? First answer I'm going to tell you is call me, because that's exactly what I do. I strengthen the instructional capacity of instructional leaders. So shoot me a DM, give me a call, let's talk. But to give you a shorter answer, the first thing that you must do is ensure that your assistant principals understand the instructional vision of the campus. Have a one-on-one conversation with them about what that vision is. Do they know it? If you were to go up and ask them, hey, what's our instructional vision for the campus? Could they adequately communicate it and be very specific and explain the action plan? They might not be able to. They might just be able to say, oh, test scores get higher. Us move from MAP beginning of year to MAP middle of year. That's not going to cut it. So make sure that you clarify the instructional vision, define the role that each individual plays in achieving that vision. So all principals, the principal themselves will do this, this, and this. The associate, if you have an associate or if you have a dean, some campuses do, some don't. This is what they'll do. Assistant principals, this is what they'll do. Teachers, coaches, counselors, lunch, staff, however, you want to clarify the role of everyone and make sure that they have the opportunity to provide input. And then also hold all stakeholders accountable. I think this is a huge problem in the education world right now. We're so worried about hurting people's feelings, and we are so worried about creating a negative culture if we give feedback. No, we have to stop, because let me tell you, if you do not hold people accountable, your best people are going to leave. Let me repeat that. If you do not hold people accountable, your best people are going to leave. That is why so many, or it's one of the many reasons teachers are leaving right now, is because they are tired of pulling the weight of individuals who aren't doing a dang thing. And that goes with leadership as well. So make sure that you put that plan in place and you hold everyone accountable. And you can do it gently. You can do it lovingly. You can even have agreements on how you want to hold one another accountable. That'd be beautiful. I am a professional. I have multiple degrees. I want to be held accountable and I want to be provided with feedback. And that's not going to hurt my feelings. It's going to help me grow. Next question. What should I do if I totally disagree with the message that my administration is making me present to teachers that I coach? Let me tell you, this question showed up 4 times on my survey, 4 times, which breaks my heart in many ways, because that tells me that there is a big communication problem and a huge collaboration problem on a lot of campuses. So here's the first thing that I'm going to say to the people that entered this response. One, I've been in your shoes and I know how hard it is. However, you and your principal must be on the same page. You have to be. If not, your teachers are going to receive messages from this angle, and then they're going to receive contradictory messages from this angle. And if you preface things with, I don't agree with this, but I still have to present it, already you're dropping a box of toxicity into this initiative. It can't be that way. It just can't, because that's going to overwhelm teachers. That's going to frustrate teachers. And again, they're going to leave, and we don't want them to leave. So this is my suggestion to you and those that submitted this question. Like I said, I've been there and I know how hard it is. However, you're going to have to set a meeting, communicate your concerns one-on-one, not in a group where it's going to really anger them that you just called me out in front of this entire group. No, I'm going to sit down one-on-one. I'm going to address these concerns. However, I'm also going to say, I need more information. Can you give me more information on the reason, the purpose? And then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do, and this is going to be a little hard, have an open mind. Have an open mind and come to an agreement of, okay, I will do this. I will send out, we're going to try this, but I just ask that you meet with me regularly so we can discuss progress and ways to strengthen this and go in it, truly going forth. Because again, you and your administration cannot be on the same page, and you cannot go behind closed doors and dismiss anything that y'all are working towards. If there is a new initiative that you're angry with and you don't want to do it, again, I've been there, but the two of you have to be on the same page. And at the end of the day, it's their campus. It is their campus, and they're going to keep pushing forward. And if you're giving conflicting information, you're actually hurting teachers. So I know that this might not be the answer that you want to hear, but the two of you have to be on the same page. And you might have to be the one who puts in the effort to make that happen. So set up a meeting, ask for more information, more clarification, express your concerns, but then also develop that agreement on how the two of you will work together. You cannot go behind closed doors and dismiss what your principal is presenting or what they've asked you to present. It just harms the teachers. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. All right, next question. We have a teacher on our campus who is 100% done with education. Oh, yeah, I know. I've seen this. However, they are staying until the school year is complete. In the meantime, they are not doing what they need to do because they are over it, but students are impacted. What do I do? This is such a tough boat to be in because I see it often. This infuriates me because I know that my niece is in someone's classroom. My daughter is in someone's classroom. My former students are in these people's classrooms. And I'm sorry, if it's not good enough for my daughter, it's not good enough for any child. So I get very frustrated when I do see teachers who are just like, I'm done. I'm riding out so I can get the paycheck. This is not like you have, I get like the whole quiet quitting. I get it. I see it. People are unhappy in their jobs, but this isn't like you're someone who's working behind a desk in a cubicle. People's lives are at stake. How would you feel if your surgeon was just done? They were done with the profession and were riding out for the paycheck. I'm going to say that education is just as important as that heart surgeon who has your chest sliced open. So it infuriates me to see that teachers, if you're done, leave. If you're done, you got to leave. You got to do what's best for you. However, if you choose to stay so you can still get that paycheck, I'm going to need you to step it up. And I'm going to need you to remember that you do have children in those classrooms. So, and I know that this is probably going to make a lot of people mad, but I'm sorry, when I see kids in classrooms, we can't just give up. So here is my suggestion. The first thing is you need to have a crucial conversation with this individual. And I know that sometimes crucial conversations make people cringe. I'm going to ask that you establish a goal for that crucial conversation. Make sure that it is a safe place. Oftentimes, adults just need to be heard, and maybe this individual just needs to be heard, and then they'll be able to finish the year strong. And I need you to rehearse this conversation with a leader on your campus. So, or maybe one of the other coaches on your campus or a coordinator. I need you to rehearse this conversation because it can become very emotional, and it can become, you don't want it to. You want it to be safe. You want it to be factual and present only the facts during this crucial conversation, and ask them what's going on. How can you help them? Those are some great ways to approach it. But I will tell you, a crucial conversation must be had. I keep leaving feedback for teachers, but when I go back into their room, nothing has changed. How should I approach this with the teacher? So we have to work on trust. It sounds to me that there might be a trust issue. So can you tell me 10 things about this individual? And I want you to really dig deep, not just 10 things of, oh, they have really pretty hair. I need you to dig up 10 things that you know about this person. And if you can't, then maybe take some time to truly understand them and get to know them. When you develop that collaborative relationship, that is when teachers begin to pull down the veil a little bit and let you in, and that fosters trust. And that's what you want to do. If they're looking at your feedback and they're not doing anything with it, it tells me that either they don't believe they need to, they don't trust the moves that they don't believe that your best interest is at heart. Maybe they feel like you're just coming in and judging them. Or 3, they don't feel like they can do it. So you need to figure out which one it is and strengthen their give them tools to strengthen their competence, to help them do things independently, model with them, work alongside them. But please have a one-on-one conversation with this individual. I don't know how you're leaving feedback, but make sure that it's not always via form or via sticky note or anything like that. I'm not saying don't ever do that. Yes, do that. When you go into classrooms, please leave feedback. But make sure that you're also taking time to meet with them one-on-one so the two of you can collaborate and develop a goal. To me, it just sounds like there's a trust issue there, and that needs to be revealed which area of trust is falling and how we can strengthen it. And you know what? Just give me a call. If you want, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM, and tell me what they said, like what was their biggest concern, and I'll respond. I'll tell you my next steps. But first, let's get to the root cause as to why there's this lack of trust. All right, so let's look at the next question. I am used for everything except coaching. Oh, yes, I see this quite a bit. My principal says they believe in coaching, but they then have me doing all the other duties as assigned. How can I help my admin see the importance of coaching? Oh my gosh, how many of you feel like your job is more other duties as assigned than actual coaching? I think this is probably the number one concern that I get. But this is what I'm going to encourage you to do. Schedule a meeting with your administrator and define what coaching is and what coaching is not together. Have the conversation of what the instructional goal is on the campus. What is the coach's role? What is a coach? What a coach is not. And then I want you to time block your days. Often administrators become so busy, they don't necessarily know that they've added something else to your plate. They might not know that they've given you another duty as assigned or another meeting. They're just rolling with the motions. And so maybe before you go in with this initial meeting, do a time inventory of maybe 5 days in a row and show them, hey, this is where I'm going. And the majority of it is other duties as assigned. If we're going to say that this is what a coach is and this is what a coach is not, some things might need to shift. Now, do not go in there just complaining. You need to go in problem solving. Administrators do not have time to sit there and come up with a solution to every problem that is presented to them. So before you go into that office, I want you to come up with a solution to taking some of those things off your plate. However, I do believe that the two of you need to have a conversation clearly defining the role. There is a teacher in one of our PLCs that is constantly negative. It is bringing everyone down. How can I address this without engaging in conflict? I'm going to take it back to what I said earlier. Conflict is necessary. So determine the goal of the conversation. You have to prepare a crucial conversation. You have to rehearse it with someone. Call me, rehearse it with me, but it has to happen. And I'm going to take it back to the beginning of this conversation. So many of our quality educators are leaving because those who are not doing their job or who are adding harm to the culture are not being held accountable. People are too afraid to hurt each other's feelings. It's not going to hurt anyone's feelings. We need to create a culture of feedback, a culture of candor. If I'm adding harm to the team, I want to know about it. And sometimes it's just Alissa, snap out of it. You're being negative. Or, okay, Alissa, you've brought this up multiple times. What you gonna do about it? Like, just that's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to take it personally. But if we don't start holding adults accountable in education, we are going to continue to spiral. So leaders, administrators, hold those teachers accountable that are not doing anything, or hold those teachers accountable that are being negative. Instructional coaches, hold people accountable. Teachers, hold your peers accountable. If not, your good people are going to leave. Your hard workers, your runners, they are going to leave. So we have to start holding one another accountable. So as much as it sucks, because don't get me wrong, I hate conflict. I hate engaging in crucial conversations, but I also know that they are a must. They are essential to a thriving campus. So remember why, because you don't want your team to quit. You don't want them to leave. And the individual that's being negative might just need someone to listen to them. And then y'all can make it better. So who knows, but you got to have that crucial conversation. I'm sorry, my friend. All right, so let's look at the next one. How do I get teachers to see that coaching is not a negative thing? All right, so we see this quite a bit, that there is a stigma around instructional coaching sometimes, that it's just for brand new teachers or it is just for teachers on a growth plan. I'm going to say it. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. LeBron James has a coach. LeBron James has a coach. And you know what? He can kick his coach's butt on the basketball court, but he still needs his coach. And so maybe take an opportunity to work alongside your administration to create a learning experience for the entire staff, defining coaching. What is coaching? And then how can we all benefit from it? But it all has to go back to the goal, the instructional goal for the campus, and how our coaches can help them get there a lot faster. I wish our administration would get out of their office. When they actually do go into classrooms, they leave feedback that is contradictory to what I have been working with them on. What can I do to stop this? That goes back to our question earlier from the principal about their administrators being instructional leaders. So the first thing I would do is schedule weekly meetings with your administration. Every week, I want us to meet. And it can be maybe you're a content coach and you are going to meet with the assistant principal over that specific content. Or maybe you are a coach for all contents and you want to meet with all of the evaluators. But schedule those weekly meetings, and not just a general leadership meeting. Too much stuff is going in on there. It doesn't have to be some long, elaborate, drawn out, but you and the administration have to have one-to-one communication every week and collaborate and strengthen communication and strengthen competence. And coach, I need you to strengthen the instructional competence of the administrators. So as you're doing these walks one-on-one, when you pop out of the classroom, you are explaining some things that, or before you go in, explain some things that the teacher has been working on. When you go back, the two of you calibrate your feedback. But the two of y'all need to work side by side. And you just might be the tool that they need to encourage them to get out of their office, because they are so busy. They're trying to get all of their stuff done. But if they are not out in the hallways and out with their teachers, the culture is going to disintegrate, and that's not good for anyone. And so maybe you're just the encouragement that they need. Okay, everyone, I thank you for joining me tonight. I have been really intrigued by these questions. I hope that you found them helpful. Go back, watch the replay, maybe send this video to one of your friends. But if you want to work with me, go ahead, send me an email or a DM, and let's schedule it. You can find me at crabtreecoachingcollaborative.org. Send me a DM here, or you know what? Just send me an email. My email is I'm going to put it on the banner, crabtreecoaching@gmail.com. So if you would like to work with me, send me an email. I would love to book a free breakthrough coaching session with you, and have a wonderful weekend, my friends. I'll see you next time.